Hi, and welcome back to the Citizen channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. And yes, we've got a moments in time today and a little feature we call Football First. So if you do enjoy this, if you're not already subscribed, please press that subscribe button, push the bell notification. All these vlogs are coming out, lots of history stuff. I'm recording this obviously during the summer break. As always, say lots in the season, but lots of history stuff as well. And please, if you can give us a like or a thumbs up or retweet or tweet or whichever way you're watching this, it'd be absolutely fantastic if you can do that for me as well. Make an old City fan very, very happy. So yeah, moments in time, football first we call this one. Yeah, and it concentrates on the first meeting City have had with teams relatively late in football. Yeah, I mean we can go back and say our first meeting with Arsenal. You can go back to the 1890s, stuff like that, but obviously, I'm looking at the teams that perhaps have come in later, either come in later in the league or for one reason or other, we just never played them at an early stage. We're going to look at a team that came into the Football League in 1920. Obviously, we weren't going to meet in the league. They were like in the Southern League. Obviously, we were sort of up and down in the older first and second divisions, weren't we? And our paths would eventually meet on the 1st of December 1987. Yeah, so I didn't get to the away match of this one. I certainly got to the home game. And we met in the second tier of English football. And we're talking Bournemouth, of course. AFC Bournemouth. Very specific. It's important. We'll talk about that in a minute. AFC Bournemouth against Manchester City. The first time we ever met was at their place at Dean Court. They can trace, of course, Bournemouth could trace their roots back to 1899, where they were known as Boscombe at that time. And to make the club a bit more representative of the district, the name was changed to Bournemouth and Boscombe Athletic Football Club in 1923. A bit of a mouthful. Imagine the guy who's going to sing "Give Us a B" for that one. He wouldn't have been very popular, would he? So that was 1923. And then eventually the club adopted, of course, AFC Bournemouth name in 1971. So, 51 years ago. I was saying quite new then. That was 51 years ago. It makes me feel old. And the intention that this club would appear, of course, as it will do, as I'm recording this, they've just won promotion back to the Premier League, will appear first alphabetically, yeah, so they will actually be top of the league, AFC Bournemouth, when the new league tables come out, when everyone's on zero, plays zero. So that's the whole idea. So a good thing, like a business, isn't it? Having a business, having a letter A, so that it was used to be the first in the old yellow pages and stuff like that. Yet a year later, in 1972, they adopted a new badge, yeah, and the stripes in the background were based on the club shirt, of course, while in the foreground is a profile of a player. Not the greatest. I don't think it's a good likeness. I have the guy, there'll be a picture of him up there, actually, so it's okay. But, yeah, Dickie Dowsett, yeah, a prolific scorer for the club in 1957 to 1962. He features on the badge, or he's an animation, if you like, of him, a caricature, if you like, of him, obviously appears. He scored 79 goals in 169 games for Bournemouth. An interesting one. Yeah, I don't believe this for 1 minute. Their red and black kit was introduced in 1971 as well, with the name of AFC Bournemouth. And they claim this. This is utter rubbish. They claim it was based on the AC Milan strip. No, I mean I know that we did that. I know Malcolm Allison in 1968, October 1968, Goodison Park. We played in the red and black kit for the first time. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm not having it. We based ours on Milan, of course we did. But surely, having seen us win the FA Cup, I've seen us win the League Cup, after seeing us win in Europe with the old red and black stripes, you're telling me Bournemouth based it on Milan? No, they based it on us. I'm not having that. I think I'll go on and change Wikipedia. So let me know what you think, guys. I'm not having that for 1 minute. They saw City's glories and they wanted something for themselves. It's not to do with AC Milan, of course it wasn't. That was us and AC Milan. They just sort of coming up with that as a reason. I don't think so. Harry Redknapp was in his 5th season. Yeah, Harry Redknapp as manager, and had taken Bournemouth into the second tier of the English League for the first time in their history. So that's probably why we're actually the first time we met them, although they'd waited another 12 years or so. We could have met them in the 3rd tier of English football, couldn't we? They went up as champions in 1987, 3rd division champions. And, of course, us ourselves have become the proverbial sort of mini yo-yo club, hadn't it, with 2 relegations in 4 seasons. Mel Machin was at the helm now. He's in his 1st season. He wasn't exactly setting things alight. He was classed as the team manager, Mel Machin. And if you look at the programmes, Jimmy Frizzell was still the manager, but Mel Machin was classed as the team manager, so it was like a general manager role for Frizzell, of course. Although, yeah, we weren't setting things alight, although we did arrive at Dean Court on a bit of a run. We'd actually been unbeaten in our last 10 games before this one, so things had appeared to be looking up. We're making a sort of bid to get into the top six, try and get into sort of those positions to try and get at least near promotion anyway. Machin himself, yeah, and the team manager of City at the time, had actually played for Bournemouth between 1970 and 73 and made 110 appearances. Any big names at the Cherries? Anyone we know? Not really. No, a couple of Irish internationals. Obviously, we knew the manager, Harry Redknapp, but even at that stage, people knew him. We still certainly know him now. But they had a keeper called Jerry Payton, who, when he was a young keeper, he had the option of playing for either the Republic of Ireland or England in goal, and obviously he chose the Republic of Ireland. And he became an international for them. I think he also played for teams like Fulham, Aston Villa and Burnley as well. And he had another Irish international, Sean O'Driscoll. It's really a bit of a struggle to recognise any of the others when you look through where they've come from. A lot of names, they might have come from a bigger club, but names you're not familiar with. They had a couple of players from Tottenham, but hadn't played many times. So they had a lot of experience, but obviously not well-known names. Approaching the game, yeah, we only sat 8th. As I said, that was a bit better than it was certainly a month or two before. We sat 8th in the league, and Bournemouth, of course, finding this a bit tough at this higher level at this first season back. They were 19th out of 23, so not relegation, but not far from it. Relegation spot, but not far from it. The programme was called the Cherries Review, and review spelled Revue, like like in a theatre review, isn't it? That sort of way, not on a Review. So good way of spelling it. Probably the correct way of spelling it. Cost 70p for 24 pages, which is probably similar to what was ours at the time. Just looking at the City one. 60p, yeah, ours was 60p for a similar amount of pages, so about right, I suppose. But obviously, you're down south, so there was a bit more money down south, wasn't there? It was the Cherries, or Bournemouth's biggest crowd of the season, 9,499 rattled up for this. I think it only holds about 10,000 now, doesn't it, guys? Even in the Premier League. And it would see City, of course, us extend our unbeaten run to 11. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't to last much longer after that, but a 2-0 win. A comfortable 2-0 win with goals from Paul Stewart and David White. The City team that day, Nixon in goal, Gidman, Hinchcliffe, Clements, Lake, Redmond, White, Stewart, Adcock, McNabb and Simpson. And Verardi did come on as a substitute, and Ian Brightwell was an unused substitute. Jimmy Frizzell summed up the visit in his programme, actually, in a couple of paragraphs for the City Match magazine on the 5th of December 1987 against Crystal Palace. He'd already thanked in his piece, already thanked in his item, 1,000 or so fans that had made the trip down to Bournemouth. And he went on to say, Bournemouth raised their game considerably when we went there on Tuesday night. We had never played, it was 1,000 fans Tuesday night. It wasn't bad at that stage. Second division club, was it? It was pretty good following. We had never played at Bournemouth. It was a big occasion for them. They pulled their biggest crowd and best crowd of the season, even though I'd been having a bad time, and the atmosphere lifted their players. We started off in great style on Tuesday, and up until David White's goal after 13 minutes, we were the only team in it, but Bournemouth came back well and put us under pressure with a lot of high balls, and for once, I have to admit, we were a bit lucky to survive. But even Liverpool have their off days, and one of their great strengths is that they generally get a result anyway. You can't always turn it on. Sometimes you have to battle, and Bournemouth was one of those occasions. The important thing was to continue our unbeaten run, and if possible, to come away with the 3 points. And to do that and keep another clean sheet was very satisfying. So, yeah, we're a bit up against it. It's a deserved win, but we had to battle hard for it, a 2-0 win. Of course, that was the matchday programme for the Crystal Palace game where Jimmy Frizzell was writing. That's where our winning run would come to an end. The reverse fixture later in the season at Main Road on the 13th of February 1988. Also, again, a 2-0 win. Again, Paul Stewart scored, but the other goal was by Imre Verardi, Mr. Banana. City would struggle. We'd struggle after that, though. We hadn't to say we had a great run to get up to about 8th spot, but we would sort of struggle after that Dean Court victory. Never really get on a good run again and finish well down the league. We actually finished a place lower. We ended up finishing in 9th, which is a bit disappointing. We collected 32 points from the last 24 games. Bournemouth themselves, they improved a lot slightly and finished 17th, taking 25 points from their last 24 games, and did spend another season in Division 2 and finished 12th, which was their highest up till then, of course, until they got back in the Premier League many years later. So they finished 12th the following season before being relegated the season after that. Harry Redknapp himself would stay in charge until 1992 at Bournemouth. Our overall record, we met them 17 times and they've never beat us. There you go. Fingers crossed as I'm doing this. And I don't know when you're watching it, or we may have even played them in the Premier League when you're watching this. But yeah, of course, we'll meet again in season 22-23, as they've just been promoted in 2nd spot from the Championship. So, as I said, you might be watching this, we might have played them, they might have beat us, but as at this point in time, as in summer 2022, we've played them 17 times, won 15, drawn 2 and lost none. 42 goals scored and 10 against. Yeah, one of those draws, of course, a lot of you will remember, was the infamous, and certainly famous or infamous, whatever you want to call it, 3-3 draw at Main Road on the 6th of May 1989, of course, where we appeared to have promotion sewn up, leading 3-0 at half-time, but then typical City ended up drawing it 3-3 with the equaliser in the last minute of the game, which, of course, led to that nerve-wracking day over in Bradford, didn't it? But, hey, that's another story in itself, isn't it? Our biggest wins over Bournemouth, yeah, well, 4-goal margin. So you got a 5-1 2015 Premier League. You've got a 4-0 2016 Premier League away at their place, and a 4-0 again 2017 at our place in the Premier League. So, yeah, I can't tell you their biggest wins because they never beat us, so I can't come up with that. So there you go, guys. Yeah, thanks for joining me for this Moments in Time. Hope you enjoyed it. Were you there? Let me know. Let me know your memories. Were you there that night, a Tuesday night down in Bournemouth? I've not been to Bournemouth. I don't know. I'm hoping I'll get there hopefully next season with a bit of luck. If say, I know we don't get many tickets, but if it's a night game, I've always got a chance because of my points total. So hopefully I can get down and visit. It'd be great. If I could. I like to visit these, if you like, older grounds that have been renamed but are still the same, aren't they? So please, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this Moments in Time Football First feature on our first ever meeting, and a bit about us meeting them a few times since with the AFC Bournemouth at Dean Court on the 1st of December 1987. Right, until we meet again, that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues, and you and your family. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.